Do you ever struggle with how do I get out more content, do it in less time, and get even more engagement? That's exactly what we're covering in This Week in Marketing.
Today we're going to talk about how to get more content for social media in way less time with way less effort, because I know what the reality is. I know that making content is difficult. Videos, writing captions for posts, designing posts, hiring someone to design posts, taking photos, and all the stuff, all the media creation that goes into content for social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, you name it. I know that it takes a lot of effort, yet I also know that it's highly rewarding and worth that effort if you can streamline the process. And so today we're going to talk about how to streamline that process, because when you look at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and all the platforms that be, they are all so greedy and hungry for more and more content. They're like, hey, can I get some more? Can I get some more video? Can I get some more vertical video? Can I get some more of this, more stories, more content? And I know a lot of agents and business owners are like pulling out their hair thinking, how in the world am I supposed to keep up with this? Because here I am trying to run my business. I'm showing properties, I'm going on appointments, I'm writing contracts, negotiating deals, doing what I'm supposed to do, yet social media, which I understand works, is really kind of aggravating in how much it wants from me. And so today we put boundaries in place. We put checks and balances in place to get more content in less time, because I also know that every algorithm, the more content you feed it, the more it feeds you opportunities in terms of growing your audience, and by extension, more inbound leads, referrals, and all the stuff that comes along with really strong social media presences. So today we talk about some specific types of posts to extend the mileage of everything you're doing social media wise. How do I get more for less time and less effort? Welcome to This Week in Marketing. My name is Jason Pantana, business coach and national speaker with Tom Ferry. And today I'm really excited about this conversation because I think it gives you back some boundaries. I think it gives you back some time in your life so that you can get the benefits of social media without all the work. So today we're going to talk about specific types of posts. And without further ado, I'll dive into the first type of post to get more for less, and that is carousels. Really, we're talking about Instagram with carousels. Carousels are the kinds of posts where you can swipe through from left to right. So they might be images, they might be graphics, they might be videos. It could be a variation of that, a myriad different types of media. It's basically from left to right where you swipe through. You can have up to 10 of these, let's call them cards. Again, a card represents, could be a video, it could be a photo, it could be a graphic, whatever, but you get up to 10 of them. And when they swipe through, that's actually really good for you algorithmically, because when this is a sidebar, you don't need to know this, but I'm gonna tell you anyways. As far as Instagram's algorithm goes, the number one interaction they measure for in terms of should they or shouldn't they prioritize your post, your content, is the time users spend on your content. So for example, if somebody watches videos, if somebody swipes through the images in a carousel, every subsequent swipe keeps them there for longer and therefore makes your post more valuable to Instagram. So there's an algorithmic benefit to doing these carousels, but today's conversation is really about the efficiency standpoint of carousels. So what does that mean? How do I do this? Well, think of it like this. Anything that's a list can be a carousel. I repeat, anything that's a list can be a carousel. So for example, you might have a steps to buying a home list that already exists in your buyer presentation. Bam, it's content. You might have a steps to selling a home that already exists. Bam, it's your content. Whenever you do a just listed, you might be able to swipe through the images that you already have from your brand new listing. Anything that you already have that can be a list or stacked together could be a carousel. And one of my favorites, the Far Group Northwest in Spokane, Washington, some of our top clients, they do carousels all the time. And I love that they basically rip off and duplicate and repurpose the market update stats their board of realtors gives them. So like whether it's your brokerage, your board of realtors, or Keeping Current Matters, you can literally swipe through with each respective card being its own stat for market updates once a month, once a week, or whatever you want. Now, you're like, but do I have to create that? Yes, you do, but you can go to a site like Canva or Adobe and create templates whereby you can swipe through and just kind of rinse, repeat every single month with a new market update. So again, we're thinking about templates, but to me, carousels are a way where I can streamline and create efficiencies around more content in less time. And it also benefits me algorithmically. Okay, that's the first one. Number 2 is what we call stock shots, or you might think of them as like lifestyle photos or candid styled photos. I love this idea, and the best example of it for me is Ray Ellen. Ray Ellen is one of our coaching members in Little Rock, Arkansas. And what he does whenever he has a listing, he hires a listing photographer to do the shoot for the listing, but he calls that photographer and says, hey, can I come over for the last 15 minutes of the photo shoot and do a mini photo session with you and me around the property? And the photographer's like, of course you can. So Ray shows up and he basically does lifestyle, candid styled photos. We call them stock shots around the property. Now he's in Little Rock, Arkansas. So like, for example, you might see Ray like chopping wood. You might see him kind of brewing a coffee with a pour over on a nice marble countertop in some kind of a charming kitchen. You'll just see him sitting on a couch or relaxing. He's typically not like looking at the camera saying, cheese. It's not that kind of a photo. It's a stock shot. They're more candid style photos and they're shot with a nice camera. So there's a blurred background and they're beautiful. And he just gets a ton of images. So he goes to his listing photo shoots. He can end up with an excess of hundreds of images and he can just pick and choose whichever one he wants. If he has a busy week and he has less content coming out, he can just go into the library of Google Drive with all these photos and grab a photo and post it. And you know what else Ray does? He also just keeps a whole list of random captions, because one of the things I like about this is on Instagram, you might have noticed in kind of the personal blogger world that sometimes you'll see a photo and a caption that are literally not even close to related at all. They're completely unrelated. It's just a thought that's in a caption with a photo. And yet it does remarkably well in terms of performance on Instagram and Facebook and other platforms as well. And so Ray keeps a list of captions and this list of photos, and just, whenever he needs one, he goes into the drawer of Google Drive, grabs some, post them, grab some, post them. It's efficient. And they perform really well because guess what? Your brand, as I've said before in videos on this channel and on my own channels, is your voice, your mind, your heart, your face, right? You show me your face. Way too many agents hide from showing their faces across social. And I want people to see you because look, they're going to remember your face in a way that's meaningful, and it's going to build your brand in the hearts and minds of people. How do we win the mind share of the marketplace? Well, stock shots can actually help you do that. Idea number 3 is hyperlapse home tours. You're like, Jason, that is a mouthful. What does hyperlapse mean? Hyperlapse is fancy video speak for basically slightly sped up, or kind of like a fast forward. Have you ever watched a video on your iPhone that was sped up a little bit and things were moving pretty quickly, right? That's called hyperlapse. You might have also noticed as you scroll through your own Instagram feeds that you see realtors who are posting vertical listing videos, so specifically their Instagram Reels, their vertical videos under 60 seconds. This also would work for TikTok and other platforms, but I'm talking about Instagram right now, where basically the agents are touring properties kind of quickly. So basically they have an iPhone and they're going like through the property like this, and then they put some trending audio on in the background because they're not talking in the video. They just are touring a property visually, and then they're layering the music in the background, and those things do so well on social media. Now, I've seen 2 different variations of them. One is like I just described, where you have somebody with the phone, here's the camera pointing out, and they just tour through the property super quick. That's one option. But the option I prefer most is where somebody else is holding the phone and you're the subject and you're the one touring the property. Because I've said for a long time that every agent gets to market 2 things. You can market yourself and you can market your listings. But when you use your listings to market yourself, to quote Tom Ferry, it's bananas what it does for your business. And so what I would rather is somebody else is holding the phone as you wander around a property saying, hey, look at that. Look, lights, look, floors. And you just kind of walk around the property showing it with gestures. And then you layer music in the background and then you're done. Guess what? I have my own coaching clients. Like I have them doing more than 1 listing video per listing because these reels are so easy to get. Who said you only get 1 video per listing? You know what? Have a bunch of videos per listing. Have vertical videos that are short form and easy, but it's another efficiency for getting more content. I want more content from you. But I know, like, you know what? It's hard to do. So what we're looking for is efficiencies. What are some different types of social media plays we can run to get content that's way less effort, but also has a high return? So far, everything we've talked about, the stock shots, the hyperlapse home tours, and then also the carousels all have an algorithmic benefit because not only Are they able to be done turnkey, but they're also going to perform really well? None of this is fluff or filler content because I don't believe in that stuff. This is real content designed to perform, but designed not to wreck your life because you have no boundaries while you're making content. And finally, idea number 4 is quick answers. Now, sidebar before I get into explaining what quick answers are. I've said in many speeches and many times and in other videos, I've asked the question of realtors, what do you sell? And the answer, just to kind of give you the cliff notes here, is you sell your expertise and the means by which you convey that expertise. That could be your personality. That could be the fact that you might use a lot of video. That could be any which way you package your brand, right? You sell your expertise and the means by which you convey that expertise. Now, sometimes agents are accused of being overly salesy. And I would argue in those situations, it's because those agents don't really know what they sell. They might think, for instance, I sell houses. And so it's nothing but houses. That's not really their brand, right? Because when people say, I'm hiring you, they're hiring you on the basis of your expertise and the means by which you convey it. At the end of the day, as a real estate professional, you're a broker. A transaction brokerage services is what you provide. A transaction brokerage service is the work you perform. It's what you provide to consumers. And so what are they hiring you for? It's the expertise. Now, stay with me for a second. If they're hiring you for your expertise, and then you made videos like crazy where you basically gave away your expertise for free, just information, advice, tips about buying and selling and investing in real estate as a whole, you would actually be selling 24/7 like every single time you posted, because what you sell is your expertise. Anytime you give away your expertise, you're actually selling your services, you're positioning your services for sale, yet nobody is going to ever accuse you or label you or call you salesy. They're going to just call you instead. Why? Because you're the knowledge broker. So, okay, take a deep breath. That was our sidebar. Let's get back to it. Quick answers, what are they? They're basically quick video-based answers to common and or technical real estate questions. I want you to take a moment and grab a sheet of paper and write down what are all the questions, common or technical, specific, like broad or super technical, like super granular. What are all the questions buyers and sellers and investors ask you about real estate? Make as long of a list as you can. That's what Katie Day for the Move Me to Texas team in Houston, Texas does. She gets a giant list of questions, like 100 questions long. Like 100 questions long. And guess what? Sometimes the questions are the same question asked slightly differently. That's okay, right? We just want to get a ton of content. She takes that list of questions to a once a month video shoot. She has a videographer set up a little space for her to do like talking head style, like direct to camera videos. And basically the camera's rolling and the videographer reads the first question, Katie answers. The videographer reads the second question, Katie answers. Third question, Katie answers. And they'll go through like 100 questions over the course of 2 or 3 hours. And then when they're done, the videographer goes through and cuts up the recording into individual files and then gives Katie all the files. And she is literally able to post one vertical video, a reel on Instagram every day of her giving a quick answer. And they do extraordinarily well. In fact, the more and more she does, the better and better they perform. So again, finding efficiencies and creating more content on social media is not about making it harder, it's about making it easier. What are some of the types of videos, the formats of posts that allow me to get more in less time? We went through 4 today. There are more out there, I promise you, but I want you thinking about how do I get more for less time and less effort? Because look, social media, it's totally worth it, but it's got to be kept in its boundary lines. At the end of the day, you're running a business, don't let it run you. Carousels, stock shots, hyperlapse home tours, and quick answers. Get to work, make a ton of content, a prolific output of content, and be the knowledge broker. Position yourself and your marketplace as the agent of choice. If you haven't already, make sure to take a second and like this video, leave a comment below. And by the way, if you haven't yet subscribed to Tom Ferry's YouTube channel, you owe it to yourself to subscribe and then hit that little bell to turn on the notifications too. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, the market belongs to those who market, so market.